Hey there, Stephanie Joy with all things Social Security and the law practice of Joy Disability. Here's a short little segment from our recent live stream Q&A that we have every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the YouTube channel, All Things Social Security. Enjoy, and if you have any questions, leave them down below in the comments, and I will be sure to get to them. Thanks so much. Bye-bye now. Hello. Happy Wednesday. Happy live stream. You guys are well. Looks a little quiet. Everything's fine here. Typically busy week, of course. Got a lot of people doing a lot of different things. We've had a lot of workshops, if you will, to make sure everything is jiving with everyone's roles. So that's always fun. I see we got Kevin Johnson in the house from Tennessee. Morristown, if I recall. How you doing, Kevin? Good to see you. And Sherry Romero. Good to see you, Sherry. I'll get to your question shortly. Pam D says, hi, new here. And hi, nice to meet you, Pam. Thanks for stopping in. Husband was just denied on initial. Oh, sorry to hear it. He has essential tremor since his teens. He's now 56. That has become so bad he can no longer write and hardly type. Also has rheumatoid arthritis, RA, and other conditions. Well, if you want me to take a look at it, Pam, if you want him to have attorney representation, you can certainly, him or you on his behalf, fill out that evaluation form and we'll take a look at it. All right. And if it gets forwarded to me, I'll call you. I'll call him. A lot of times it'll just be like the two people on speakerphone, so it's all good. Yeah, he probably has other conditions. 56, we start to get that. Paul says, I did not realize there was two entities for SSDI. No. So I don't know what you're talking about. Still, Sybil, you're going to have to clarify. I'm sorry. Any advice on how we can prove his tremor is disabling? It's not going to be the tremor alone that is going to be disabling. It's going to depend on his prior work. It's going to depend on his physical exertional capacity, that RFC, the exertional part, the sedentary light, medium, that kind of thing. If the tremors are in his hands, there's jobs that don't require, a lot of hand use or intricate use or anything like that. So you're going to be wanting to take a different needle and thread it the right way. You have an easier case than someone who's under 50. But you're not going to be able to take advantage of the easier rules if you don't know what they are and what kind of things will work to do that. So that's what you're going to want to study up on, the grids for him and what is required for his particular vocational profile. And it's going to depend on what his current treatment is and what those records say. So everything kind of gets woven all together, and hopefully the tablecloth gets done that way. Pam D says his RA is also causing extreme fatigue. All right. Is he seeing a specialist for the fatigue? That's hard to prove. That's right. That's I always say, start going to a doctor that specializes and complain. And they'll do workups and they'll make this suggestion. He keeps trying all the suggestions. And usually they'll even say in their report, when they make the appearance of the patient looks fatigued. So, maybe he shouldn't put a bunch of makeup on and look wide awake. I'm kidding. But don't pretend you're not fatigued when you're fatigued when you're at your doctor's office. It's mostly his hands. So his body shakes from tremor. Sometimes he can't even drive. He's been diagnosed with both conditions. Yeah. So it's really going to be nitpicky. As you see, he just got denied because he probably didn't address some of the things that you need to address. Give me 1 second, though. Just have to do a quick fix there. Okay. Sybil says, when they fusion you and then bone spurs in neck out on lesions on brain. Yay. Sybil. My daughter filled out my third person activities of daily living yesterday. She was noticing things I hadn't noticed. Yeah, and that's why, those can be helpful. They're not going to get you to win on initial or recon, but your medical records will have to do that. But they'll be helpful later. Sybil says, thing is, be honest. Is a 5-month period non-back pay? Yes, there's a 5-month waiting period that's non-back pay. Yeah. So you basically are disabled but not able to collect anything because nothing's due for those 5 months. It's not until the 6th month after they found you disabled. Trika says, thank you so much for the info. You are spot on with my limitations and all are documented by PT, ortho, and neurosurgeon. I'm going to work with my daughter on the 2-hour test of my limits. Well, remember, if it gets bad in 15 minutes, do not go 2 hours. And of course, ask your doctor if it's okay. Anyway, hey, you're going to try to fly, but that would be disastrous. Don't do that. What type of questions will they ask for a Telehealth CE agreement form? Well, on the form, it's saying, are you willing to go to a telehealth? But I think you're asking, what will a telehealth CE be like? It'll be like a regular one. Usually do those for mental because it's kind of hard to do a physical exam. It's kind of hard to do a physical exam over the phone. So they're going to ask, I do have a video or two on the mental health consultative exam if you want to look that up. It's under the playlist of mental health claims, I think. Yeah. So feel free to take a look-see at that. It probably touches on some of the things that you can be expected. Yeah, I mean, if you look under number 20 on the function report, look for the things that talk about concentration, focus, following directions, getting along with others, completing tasks. Those are kind of things that are, those are work-related tasks that are affected oftentimes by mental health conditions, whether it's mild to moderate anxiety, nothing like crippling, or something else that's not crippling. So you don't have to necessarily, unless you're young and you're trying to say, no, I actually can't do any job, even a simple third grade job, due to my anxiety or my this or my that. That's going to take a lot more proof. Like, so how often are you in inpatient psych for that? And if they say, well, no, I'm not that bad. Well, then they're not that bad, you know. But for most people 50 or older, you don't have to, you're going on the physical, and then you just need a little, you need to prove the amount of loss of concentration and focus such that you can't really take those transferable skills. Oops, sorry. Those transferable skills that you had. Yeah, hello. Those transferable skills that you had. Look at me like that. I don't know. Maybe I should have said it before we started. Those transferable skills, you're just trying to prove that you can't do that, which does not mean you have to be severely impaired with mental limitations. Just a little bit will make us not be able to be, say, a brain surgeon or a pilot or some other high skill job. What? You're very pushy today. KU Thunder's in the house. Hey, KU. Hello, Stephanie. Pedaling on my exercise bike while listening to you and waiting on my case. It's nice to know others are in the same slow process. Thanks. Good luck to everyone. Good luck with the exercise. Still Chick says she's 59 currently. I will either get approved in July or I will claim entitled widow's benefit at 60. Well, that's fine, except you'll be taking a big cut, right? You're going to be taking like 70% of what you could have gotten if you take it at 60. I wouldn't give up. You want an initial or recon? If you want us to take a look at it, Civil, I'm happy to do that. Just go to the website and look in the upper left for the link for a free eval, and they'll let me know, and then I'll call you if they shoot it over to me. Okay, but I'm very sorry you're a widow. I'm very glad that you could take a widow retirement benefit basically without being disabled at 60, but it's going to be less. It's going to be, what is it, 71.5%? Or something like that. And that's permanent because you're taking it way before retirement age. Don't give up on your disability case just because you have this other lesser thing you can get. Sybil says, bad that you are set by a cap as a lawyer. Is that a question? I don't think it's bad. I think it was bad when they didn't adjust the cap for 13 years. We lost a lot of what would have been good, compassionate representatives because you couldn't afford to do it. They kept it for so long. The time, I would say by the time I'd already been in, like, let's say my 10 years, I had a big enough business where that lower fee cap, even though it'd been forever, wasn't going to kill me because, we kind of perfected the methodology here, strongest case workup, and no limit on, unfortunately, there's never a shortage of cases to be had. So I don't have a problem with the cap. When they didn't increase it, no one can afford to do this kind of work. Because remember, you work for a number of years oftentimes on each case. So when you first start out in particular, you do starve. I did starve in the beginning. Now one case, then you get two. But they don't pay, like you might have to work for 2 years before you get paid on the first one. So you have to have other things going on. And I used to do New Jersey state law. So I was doing the cases I still had. I didn't take any new ones when I decided I was going to jump to federal and do SSD, but I still had the cases I had, and I was just titrating them out, finishing them off for the next few years, and then, didn't take any more. It was the best thing ever. But the cap is good because, lawyers have a bad reputation for being snakes for a reason. And there's many of us that are not like that way, but the propensity to be that way is very high. So I think the protective cap is the way to go. I just do. I don't have a problem with it at all. It was bad when they didn't raise it, and then they raised it after 13 years to like 70. Stop it, 200, and that was a blessing. Now they raised it from 5,300 to 6,000. That was like puny. Will you stop it? She's really being obnoxious. Stop here. Not good enough for you? Yeah, you have an attitude today. Then they raised it from 6,000 to 7,200. That was big. That was a few years ago. And then November of 2024, they raised it to 9,200. And the plan was that it was going to start being COLA, which seems like obviously, stop it, proper thing to do. I'm going to put you on the floor. COLA. The fees that it's generated on have a COLA. So it just only makes sense. And then they wouldn't have to worry about it. But I did hear that the current administration is like, well, I forget what they said, but it doesn't seem like that's necessarily going to be a priority, raising our fees. I think they're more into, and perhaps rightfully so, in a sense, the claimants getting better service and things like that. But COLA to me keeps people honest. It keeps governments honest. So I think the COLA should apply. You know, you're really getting on my nerves, and you've never been like this before in here. No way. Anyway, so I think the cap is good. Because otherwise, I'm telling you, and I know some law firms that didn't study before they decided to take an SSD case, they were billing their client. They took a retainer. You could take a retainer, but it's got to sit in trust and not be spent until the SSA finishes the case and says, all right, we think you should get paid this amount. Then you could take that amount out and then send your client any balance. But no, they were billing their client for every little thing they did as if it was a divorce case. And I remember I told one firm, I think they retaliated against me. They were so mad because they had to send the money back to. It was a client that I was now representing. But it's like, I'm telling you privately, I'm not telling on you because I don't know for sure it even happened. This is just what they say. You know, you might want to do this. When they did, so obviously they must have made a mistake. It's just like, are you kidding me? You could thank me later for you not being disbarred. All right. But the cap is good. Otherwise, people would be ripping. They just would. There's scoundrels everywhere. And then you have non-attorney reps. Think about how many scoundrels are there, too. All right, that's it. You're going to go. You're really annoying me. I'm going to put you on the floor. Oh, you don't want to go on the floor? Oh, see, look at that. Oh, suddenly she doesn't want to go on the floor. Get up there. She's not usually like this. For all of you people that just came today, she's usually very not. But I think she's ticked off because I didn't have any goodies for her before we started. Dimple's in the house. Hi, Dimple. Just got in from an appointment. Almost looking forward to the rotator cuff surgery next Tuesday because I'll have to stop the chiropractor and doctor appointments for a few days. I'll get a little break, right? Fingers crossed for you. LaRocha says, treatment, could it be in natural supplements? No, that's not medical treatment. I understand what you're saying. I happen to prefer that way myself, but it's for evidence purposes. It's not going to hold water. Instead of prescription drugs that hurt you more than help, I feel that natural is... That's fine. You can feel whatever you want, but the rules of evidence, like in any court, are what they are. So it doesn't matter what we feel. Sorry. Charka says, how do I access my SSDI record online? When I log in, it only shows the status of my application. I don't know. I don't see what you guys see, so I can't really say. I'm moving you far, far away from me. You're grounded. Time out. Spunky. I don't know, Trika. If anybody knows. No. You don't see your SSDI record online. I'm sorry. You can upload things. You can't see what they put in there. So, sorry that wasn't clear. I thought you had said, something about sending stuff to them, and you can, but you can't. And you can see what you sent. This is what I've been told by one of you guys, but you can't see everything else. Hopefully one day that will change. KJ says, hi KJ, did we meet? Why would it bother you for them to see your social media if you aren't doing anything that can hurt your case? Sounds sus to me. I'm going to disagree, and I'll tell you why. I get like memory shares on, like, say, Facebook. It could be us doing something fun from 10 years ago, and I just click the share button. So, my friend wants whatever. And if you do that, it might look, you're not doing anything wrong. You're not skiing right now, but it can look like you are. And also, what if you like to discuss things? You're very physically disabled. Maybe you've got some, anxiety that reduces your focus and concentration, but doesn't mean you can't do squat verbally or dictation. You can dictate to social media. It's what other people might think. And I don't mean regular people. I mean a surveilling person or an adjudicator. They say, remember, there are humans on the other side. So if they see that you are able to articulate, they don't know whether you're throwing your thoughts into Chat GPT and making them sound smarter than you are. All they're seeing is that. And it's not like you get a trial within a trial. You don't have a whole trial on whether that your social media presence reflects your disabilities. So the point is, if you want to avoid possible headaches, don't do it. If you would rather do it and take the risk, then do it. It's a free country. You are really you're acting like a weirdo. Dimple says, is there any way for me to see, making you even further away, is there any way for me to see if all the info has been received by DDS or if they need anything else? No, you have to call. I mean, I can see it, so I stay on top of that. But you can't see it, unfortunately. I mean, unless, screenshot, which is possible. L Rule says, who said the sus thing? Put it back. Meaning, don't say it. Sus. Yeah, that sounds like my kids. L Rule is praying for everybody. Pam D says, sorry, husband has been IT computer guy for his whole career. Why are you sorry? Which means, by the way, Pam, that he had high skills. That means he has transferable skills. Now, whether or not there are jobs that can accept those transferable skills that he could do, is now you're going after my... She's just in rare form today. I don't know why. 2:30, guys. All right. Thank you, Independence. I hope you have a great evening also. All right. Yeah, leave your question on the comments. That's perfect. Thank you all, KU. Thank you to you too. Pam D, you as well. Nice to meet you. And I will see you guys next week. Hopefully, bring your friends and share, like, and what do they say? Comment. All right. Bye, guys.